In the throwaway mystery, the Hardy Boys fight a human trafficker in Moscow. They almost die in a sauna, and the culprit shoots at them with a gun. They easily tackle the culprit and defeat him. It's ironic because at the end of this book, the culprit pulls a gun on the Hardys. They decide it's too dangerous to tackle him and steal the gun. Why not? That plan worked in the first chapter.
Argo Font Book Review. Argo Font Book Review.
The Hardys go to the mall where they hang out with their buddies, Chet and Iola Morton. Chet is kind of a new character. Instead of being their chubby sidekick, he is now super buff. Chet is 200 pounds of pure muscle. Good for him, but the Hardys still refuse to let Chet tag along on their mystery-solving adventures. Poor Chet. As for Iola, she works at Phil's Franks and Fries. She's forced to wear a hideous uniform, which I suppose explains why she's not in most of these books. She's hiding. Today's mission is to investigate the mall. Arthur Applegate, the mall's owner, is in negotiations to sell the mall to Ralph Eberhardt. An environmental group named STEM is concerned this will harm the nearby marsh, and they've been threatening Applegate not to sell. There's a humorous subplot where Joe can't find a job, and he overhears Applegate argue with a lawyer named Bob Meister. According to Meister's suspect profile, he sued his parents while he was still in law school. Harsh. Meister makes veiled threats about bad things happening if Applegate doesn't sell. Frank meets Oscar, the grouchy janitor. He meets a cute girl named Adriana, and she gives him a job at a hippie store. Gee, I wish cute strangers gave me jobs when I was a teenager. The store is run by Steph Flowers, the president of STEM. When Frank and Adriana leave, a pane of glass falls from the ceiling. Frank saves Adriana's life, and her crush on him goes into overdrive. Near the broken glass is a spray-painted threat from STEM. Frank sees Oscar steal something shiny from the crime scene, and he finds Steph's poncho buried in a plant. Is she guilty? Or is this planted evidence? Joe visits Eberhardt, who says teenagers won't be allowed to visit his new mall unless they have adult supervision. Joe naturally hates this idea, and he decides Eberhardt is mad with power and greed. Adriana greets Frank with a kiss on the cheek. Whoa! She confirms Steph didn't have her poncho yesterday. And that's basically it for Adriana. She doesn't really show up after this point. It was kind of a waste to build her up as Frank's love interest, only to have her do nothing. Applegate pays Steph's bail for unknown reasons, and Frank learns that the spray paint was done by some local punks. They claim they were paid to frame Steph. In Joe's humorous subplot, he eats food that was soaked in plastic. Poor Joe. Oscar is murdered with one of Steph's lava lamps. The Hardys correctly guess that Oscar found the culprit's cell phone at the crime scene. Oscar tried blackmailing the culprit, who killed him. The Hardys recover the cell phone and discover Meister is the murder Meister. Meister is killed shortly afterwards. Iola finds important evidence. She tries to talk to Frank about it, but he's kind of busy with the police right now, so he brushes her off. Come on, Frank, don't be a jerk to your friend, especially when she just solved the mystery for you. Steph is publicly arrested, forcing Applegate to reveal she is his granddaughter. He will later decide to sell the mall to her. She plans to renovate it as an organic mall. I have no idea how she'll pay for this when the mall is so broke it can't even afford to fix the broken window from earlier. Iola suddenly disappears. The Hardys find her in the parking structure, where it's revealed Eberhardt is the culprit. Eberhardt has a secret accomplice, Phil, the hot dog guy. I should have known the hot dog guy was guilty. Iola figured it out when she saw the murder weapon in Phil's things. I wonder why Iola didn't go to the police right away. The police were there in that chapter, and our heroes are on a first-name basis with the cops. It seems weird for her not to tell the police, you know? The culprits tie up our heroes and start a death trap in Iola's car. A fuse will burn through a rope, which is connected to the steering wheel, which is connected to a brick, which will drop on the accelerator, moving the car forward off of the building. That seems unnecessarily complicated to me, but fortunately, it gives our heroes time to escape. On a side note, this scene reminds me of the Case Files series, which started with Iola's car exploding at the mall. Chet shows up to save them. Frank tells Chet to get the fuse, but Chet is confused. Frank tells Chet to get the rope, but Chet is still confused. So Frank gives up on trying to get Chet's help. Are you kidding me right now? How is Chet that stupid? Can he not see the death trap in front of him? And why does Frank give up so easily? If I was Frank, I would tell Chet to take the brick away from the driver's area. It's a simple, easy instruction that would save everyone's lives immediately. But no, that wouldn't be exciting enough. So Chet goes behind the car and pulls it. Yes, Chet is so strong he can pull a 1,000-pound car by himself, even when the car has a brick pushing down the gas pedal. The final chapter is a high-speed car chase with the culprits. Please note there is no reason for the Hardys to start a car chase here. The culprits think they're dead. They could easily call the police in safety and have the culprits arrested off-screen. The end. Post-book follow-up. This book was pretty good. I liked everything, except the unnecessary action scenes in the final chapters. They felt out of place because this is not an action book. It's mostly focused on the mystery and characters, not action and cliffhangers. It feels like the author of this book was trying to write something in line with the original Hardy Boys series. The secret agent stuff is toned down as much as possible, to the point where it would not change the story at all if the Hardys were just amateur detectives. Not only did this book have a lot of appearances from Chet and Iola, but there was also a lot of Chief Colleague and Con Riley. They acted like stereotypical New York cops instead of how they normally act, but it was still nice to see them. Frank and Joe spend a fair amount of time investigating in different places. Unlike Super Mystery 2, the separate investigations were both interesting and relevant to the plot. Good job on that front. I give Hardy Boys Undercover Brothers number 17, Murder at the Mall, a 9 out of 10.